let's move on to the other topic that I wanted to cover today. Um, Please note that the topic that we're going to be talking about next is actually about something that's really personal to me. If you have trauma of things on subjects of suicide, self harm issue like mental trauma and sexual assault and stuff like that, you might want to I'm just giving you the caution of this now. You might not want to listen, but today I wanted to actually show. I wanted to talk about something. Um, Recently, I came to the decision that I actually wanted to talk about this because of the fact that I want to fight back. I want to fight back against my trauma, against my depression, against a lot of things that have happened to me in the last year. I want to stand up for those that have been abused and those that have been assaulted and stuff like that. The topic that we're going to be talking about right now, the situation that we're going to have a discussion about currently is it starts with this. This little guy. His name is Karama. Karama was inherited to me. Now, I said he, but actuality, I don't necessarily. I don't give. I gave this fox a very flexible gender, and there's a reason for it. Karama is a very special stuffy that belongs to me. Um, and I want to talk about someone who meant the world to me who passed away last year. Some of you have saw my posts that were on Instagram where I was crying and I was freaking out and I didn't know what to do. And I want to talk about those posts because that was the most vulnerable I had ever been in my entire life. I have never in my life felt so vulnerable that I didn't know what to do afterwards. And I really want to talk about it. In 2017, when after I had joined the ABDL community again, and well, I was already in, I was outside of the mainstream community. I had decided to come back and I joined the group, my local, former local Littles group. While there, I was helping out and doing everything, and one day, I still remember this to this day. One day, this beautiful girl walks through the door. And I don't know how or what the fuck happened, but we were like, I saw her and my heart fucking stopped. And I was just like, who is this? And again, someone that suffers anxiety, even though I do public speaking, I was riddled with anxiety. I didn't know who this person was, but she was absolutely gorgeous, like the most beautiful woman I've seen in a long time. Like, like this is, it was amazing. Like she was one of the most outstanding people I've ever met. So I gathered my courage and walked up and started talking to her. Her name was Ray. She was gorgeous, just vibrant, like such a bright soul. Like she was amazing, funny, like had a really like awesome personality. And I think it was really funny because here's this woman no older than maybe 23, 24, and here at this play party, and she's just funny and really just joyful. And the more that I talked to her, the more I wanted to get to know her. And so I did. I started chatting with her. She was really cool. And I absolutely fell for this woman. Over time, our friendship grew. We talked more, and it was really cool. Um, she told me, hey, like, she was like, well, don't get too attached to me. I'm moving to Australia. And I'm like, are you? I was like, why would you move to Australia when the community here needs you? It needs people like you. You're amazing. Like, why would you leave? And at this point, I hear future me, which is the current me right now, screaming at that version of me saying, let her go. Let her go. Because at the very least, she wouldn't have to go through what she did. Fast forward to another person named Drac. Drac and I had been hanging out for months at this point, about the better portion of maybe roughly a year. I used to see him at an event that I used to go to, and he would kind of just pretend like we had known each other for a longer time than we did. I thought that it was a longer time. It wasn't. See, I had met him at an event called Fet 101, and he was with his, at the time, fiance, who was a very overly sexual woman, and she was. But I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying like she was just overly sexual. She was really cool, but very down. Like let's just put it this way, very DTF. I knew that they were poly, and she started explaining stuff to me about the ideas and the philosophies of poly, and I learned a lot from her. I don't remember her name, which is really shit. Uh, I don't remember her name. But for the sake of the story, we'll call her Sarah. Sarah was awesome. She was really nice and always tried to explain to me about the different parts of like everything that had to do with everything, like just everything. She was Sarah was awesome. Like she was this really sweet woman, and I learned a lot from her about being poly, and I discovered that I myself was poly. And when I learned more about myself, I became more friends with her and Drac, and it was really cool. This story is where this takes a turn. This takes a turn. So, after meeting Rain, by this point in time, Drac and Sarah had broken up. Sarah straight out left him, and I didn't know what else to do. I was there for him during the breakup, but he was pretty upset about it. What I didn't know is that I was helping the worst person in that relationship, and I didn't understand it. However, she was very much just all for, like, still chatting and being friends. I lost contact with Sarah, but I still hung out with Drac. One day while I was out with Drac, I got a phone call from Rain. Rain wanted to hang out, and the two of them met for the first time at my house. And we chatted, and it was the first time that I realized that I had no chance with Rain. Uh, when she met Drac, the two of them locked eyes and never stopped looking at each other. And I was just like, oh, okay, maybe I'm in the way. And I later on discovered that, like, the two of them were very close. There was a threesome, and then they left my house after the threesome and went to a hotel where they spent the entire week together. So a one night stand turned into a 1 week stand. And the two of them very much were vastly in love with each other. And she went to Australia. He drove her to the airport and everything. And he was sad that she left. I was sad that she left. And she got over there and immediately said, "My heart isn't here." Rain came back from Australia about a month later and straight out just said, "My heart wasn't there because I'm in love with Drac. And I hate you. I hate you, Anka, because you straight out made me fall in love with him." Wait, what? So I was happy that she was back. And like I said, I still loved her. We had a polycule together, like all of us. It was Drac, me, Mouse, um, a lot of other people that were involved, and we were a family. We were a happy kink family. It was a really nice, lovely experience to actually have, like, these group of people together like this. It was uh, it was one of the funnest things ever. Yes, Polly. Let me give you guys an example. Uh, Poly is it's spelled Poly. It stands for polyamorous. It means that you and your partner, or you and are seeing other people while seeing each other that you guys have agreed with. It's not cheating. You can cheat in polyamorous relationships. Long story on that. But essentially, a polycule is basically an entire collaboration of people who know each other through each other, essentially, and have a relationship, essentially. It's what I'm the way I'm explaining it is really terrible, and it's because I don't want to focus on the polycule as much as I want to focus on other stuff. You can find stuff about polycules online. There's some really good, like, people on YouTube that will explain that. Um, 4 years passed. 2019, TeddyCon. Raina decided to take a job where back home for her, which is not Pittsburgh, it's somewhere else. Uh, but she went back there because she went to go and run a store, a Halloween store, and it was great because she got to make so many connections and everything. And he came back and everything was still good. It was really great. The two of them had, well, he had proposed to her. She said yes, and they were going to be married, and things were just really great. Um, We all went to TeddyCon. It was one of the funnest experiences outside of my favorite Hitachi breaking, because somebody was careless. Someone decided to go into my bag and take out my toys without asking me, and like the other person in the room that was there was like, "Oh, he wouldn't have a problem with it." No, you're absolutely right. I wouldn't have a problem with it as long as they were careful with it, but they weren't, and they just straight out broke what I had there. So, thank you. I actually do appreciate that, Scarlett. At the event, we all got together and we all hung out. It was great. We went to dinner. We went to breakfast. It was a really, really fun event, and I had the best time of my life at that event. Like, the greatest time at that event. We came back. There were new people that were a part of the polycule. Apparently, Rain and Drac had met another couple who got involved into the group. Uh, what was terrible was, one of the people in the group was untrustworthy. See, this married couple was a bit of a bone of contention, right? Because it seemed some of the things that seemed involved were really shitty. But Rain met this couple. They were really cool. They had a family together and everything. And Drac really enjoyed them. It was a really cool situation. The husband and Rain had a relationship that went on for a while. However, something came up where they discovered that the husband in that relationship, in that couple that they had met after TeddyCon, the husband was a pedo, apparently, and was arrested, firmly arrested. Good, thank God. Um, he was awaiting trial, and Rain was really distraught by this because of the fact that she realized that there were certain things that this dude was doing to manipulate her during any of the times that they were together. And she was like, why didn't I notice these signs about this guy? He obviously was a fucking problem, and she was really upset about that. What happened next was is that they realized they didn't want to have to deal with the wife anymore because they had had issues with the wife, and yeah, this story starts going into a really dark place. So please get ready. So they didn't want to deal with the wife because they thought that she was a bit crazy and that she was way too wild to actually be in a relationship with them. However, what happened was is that they found out something else. After the husband was arrested way later, and Drac and Rain decided to take back the wife and be like, hey, uh, we kind of feel like you were probably in a really shitty place dealing with the way that he was, and we would love for you to be a part of the group again. That was the first mistake. The wife started was the wolf in sheep's clothing. The wife started to do certain things that were unsavory and things that I definitely, if I had known at the time, because I didn't know her and I hadn't met her, and I didn't even know she existed until after it was brought up. Um, there was a situation in which she got they all, like, there was all sex involved and everything with them, and there was a situation where there was this is about 2020, by the way. This is like, ooh, oof, man. It's like 2020, near June, right after the George Floyd incident. Uh, what happened was that uh, Rain and Drac decided that they were going to reinvite this woman back into their lives and into their relationship. Little did they know they were basically letting the wolf back into the hen house. Except one knew that that's what they were doing. Yeah, I'll get to that in just a moment. But what happens is that when the wife got involved, she started trying to turn all of Rain's friends against her, one by one, constantly putting little tidbits of something, using sexual favors as a way to gain better favor with her friends so that they would think negatively of her. Many of us did not know about this. I, at the time, hadn't heard from Rain or Drac in about roughly 3 months after they told me that they were taking 3 months off to go and just hang out with people, like hang out with, just be together. And then this, I got a story 3 months later that was really just off, where I was told about a July 4th party. Now, mind you, the wife and Rain had a relationship where they were partners at one point, right? What happened was that at this particular party, Rain had been seeing another person. Like, Rain had another person who they had met, and they were really excited and happy to be with. This person, Rain didn't know, was purposely met her through the wife. Yeah. So we're going to give the wife a name. We'll call her Maxine. Maxine knew that Rain was so happy that she met this new guy. What Maxine did was, hold on a second. This is not the time for, yeah, yeah, that, I don't know why that person was calling me. Uh, Sorry about that, everybody. But getting back to the story, um, what happened was is that Maxine ended up calling. Maxine ended up setting up Rain by introducing her to by. Rain thought that she had met this guy by chance. In actuality, Maxine told the guy where Rain was, and the two of them got together after that. Now, this dude apparently had a really shady past where he claims that, like, so this is a fucking wild part to the story. But back during the George Floyd incident, I was staying at their house for about a week, and I was introduced about this one guy, and I don't remember his name. We'll say, what do we call him? We'll call him Ben. Ben, um, apparently had been in a situation where he was in a relationship with a woman, and they were into hardcore. I have to put up quotations on this. Hardcore bully sports. Yeah, I know some people are like, what the fuck is hardcore bully sports? I don't know either, and it's not something that I would like to fuck with. But apparently, like, they would bully each other to the point of like tears and being upset, and it was. I don't know if this was a kink or what. It was weird. What happened though is that things got a little bit shady, and the person ended up on stream, which I believe it was. I believe this was on. Uh, what is it? What is that? What is the old thing that we used to use before Zoom? What was the other one? It was like before Zoom. There was another one. Uh, God, fucking hate that I can't think of what it's called. Let me see. Let me see. What's it called? What was the name of that? It's not Zoom. It's oh my God, what was the other instant messenger that we used to use? It's not Outlook. Does anyone remember? There's another one, and I can't think of the name of it right now. It's not Skype. Oh wait, that's it. Skype. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, computer, for reminding me of Skype. Yeah. So it was on Skype. Apparently, um, they bullied each other to the point that he bullied her to the point that she was at a manic depressive state. And at any point in time that things got too rough, they could call Red. Apparently, the situation got so rough that she pulled out a gun and blew her own brains out. Ben was now suspected of murder and was being charged with the bullying, cyberbullying of this woman into her own death. Rain knew about this, but believed that the guy was telling the truth, that it was some type of kink thing that was involved. I didn't believe that, and I tried to explain to Rain about this, and I was like, I don't think that that sounds right. This dude's history sounds a little bit awkward and weird. And she was very interested in learning more about this guy. And it's one of those situations where you are fascinated and interested in someone who might be way more toxic than you're thinking, than you know for yourself. And that was the situation, is that this person was horribly fucking toxic. Like I said, Rain didn't know that this woman had set this up for them to meet. I'll explain how I discovered it later on. But situations happened where Rain, that guy, and everybody had got together for a 4th of July event. I was not invited. I didn't even know that this event took place. However, Rain had smoked weed, had smoked some weed and drank, and was like, hey, listen, uh, told the person, hey, just watch out for me while we're here, because I'm not trying to be the responsible one tonight. And that was fine. Now, the fireworks go off, and this is when shit got real for me. According to Drac, the fireworks triggered some type of PTSD for him. Here's the thing I don't fucking understand. Why? What PTSD? Because I knew nothing of this. Like, there was nothing that would trigger a PTSD response, especially when we had been out to fireworks events before, and he never responded that way. And we had been to other events also before, and he had never responded that way. So this just seemed like a really weird right wing excuse that he just gave out of the blue. And the reason why I say right wing excuse is because over time, Drac got a little bit more crazy and a little bit more weird over time, where it was like he went out and bought a gun, and he claimed that that's because he wanted to make sure he was protecting Rain, and then which I was okay with, but then he started like brandishing the gun when he didn't need it, and and keeping it in places that didn't make sense. And I started to get a little bit worried, but I knew him, and I was like, he wouldn't. I don't think he would harm anybody. And it just started getting a bit strange. Now, what happened is that when the situation got really, really, really fucking bad was at this event when she went to sleep. Now, remember, I said that Maxine was there. Maxine knew the dude, and the guy just randomly left while Rain was asleep. Maxine gets next to Rain, takes off her panties, stuffs it in her mouth, and rapes her. When Rain woke up and found out what had taken place, she claimed that the that she claimed that the situation was Rain said that when she woke up she found her panties in her mouth, and she didn't know why why this woman did this to her. And she found the woman still clinging on to her when she woke up in the next morning, and she was very upset. Oh my god. Now, Drax's response was a little bit weird because Drac was emotionless to it, which didn't make any sense until you realize Drac and Maxine had been seeing each other his behind her back. Drac had been seeing a lot of people behind everyone's back. And we thought that he was just joking about certain stuff because when we would ask questions about it, a lot of people would be like, no, that didn't happen. Come to find out, a lot of shit was happening and we didn't know. And Drac was very much more of a predator than we knew. Drac started like what happened was is that Rain ended up finding out later on. I was told about this is that Rain came home from work one night and there was a sound of someone having sex in their bedroom, and Rain was like, "Who the fuck is here?" And what she finds out is that this 18-year-old girl who she had been friends with, like she had been friends with this person, not in a sexual manner or anything like that. They were just really cool people who happened to know each other. And the girl was about to turn 19, and apparently Drac just invited the girl over and had sex with her, and no conversation was ever had about like any of that. And she was really upset about that, and she was just like, why didn't you talk to me about any of this? Like, what are you doing? Like, mind you, he is 26. Like, Drac was 26 at the time, and it was it was just strange because like there was always a conversation about like relationships and stuff like that, and people being involved in together. Now again, the girl is of age. She made a decision to sleep with Drac, but all of us were like, why? Like, why was this a thing? Like, we had no idea why this was something at all, and we kind of felt like Drac had taken advantage of this girl, and we had a discussion about it, but the girl was like, no, it was consensual and everything was fine, and like, yeah, there was no problems. And I was like, okay, so this is something you guys were talking about, like, before this. And she was like, yeah, yeah, no, this is just like a normal conversation. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, you're of age. We can't really say anything to that. But there was a situation later where apparently Maxine and Drac were sleeping together and nobody knew about it, until this situation came up. And Drac refused to say anything. Drac refused to open his mouth or say anything of the sort. And he never mentioned anything to us. Now, we all had a bit of an issue. We not even a bit. We had a major issue with Drac after a while because he started doing shit that didn't make sense. Drac was very much asking questions amongst people in the polycule that didn't make sense. He was also overplaying um, a situation that he had happen. See, Drac was in the hospital at one point because his lungs were calcifying. Uh, it had something to do with the chemicals that were in the air because he didn't take the safety precautions that he claims that he always did when he was doing welding. He ended up having a mixture of chemicals in the air that he inhaled and started calcifying his lungs. He survived that and he was fine. However, he had a series of health problems because of the fact that he constantly didn't take safety precautions. And it started getting to a serious point where Drac was just overplaying his hand. Let's put it that way, where he was constantly saying like these terrible fucking things about himself, about, oh, I'm so injured, and I don't feel good because like my I was coughing up blood and everything. He wasn't coughing up blood, it was none of that. And then he tried to claim that Rain didn't care about him because she was always out and going to other places, but I was with him and I didn't see him do any of this shit. And I was like, I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. I would just nod my head and be like, yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh. So Maxine happens to be a nurse. So Rain asked Maxine to start looking after Drac because she had to work, and he was out of work at the time because he was is supposedly on medical leave. And then everybody was like, after a while, realized he was playing it up, and his job ended up firing him. Later on, they realized that they actually broke a couple of ethics laws and shit like that, and he ended up being able to win a lawsuit, and they settled the lawsuit. So what happens next is that he starts blowing his money on random shit. Mind you, they have bills. So the only thing that they're able to sustain themselves on is her paycheck. And she was getting kind of annoyed by that because it's her money. She didn't get the chance to spend it because they were constantly spending it on shit that was completely unnecessary. So during this exact year, right after this whole incident, Rain realized that they didn't hadn't talked to me in like 2 months, and they were like, "We should do something special for Anka. We should get him something for Christmas." They got me an Elite Core playset of like these bootleg GI Joe figures that I fucking love from Walmart, and yeah, I actually have a few of them in a container somewhere around here, but. Excuse me. Um, the situation really got out of control because she wanted to do something really, really cool for me since they did that for me for Christmas. And mind you, this is 2020 that we're in at the time. So for my birthday, because they had missed my birthday, Rain ordered an entire case of peekaboos. At the time, I had not worn peekaboos, and I had never tried them. I was also at the time gaining weight because it was the pandemic and I was home and I was not exercising like I usually do. And yeah, shit was just going awry. We then got up, went out, did some shit. And like, at the time, she was just like, yeah, I wanted to get you something, so I got them for you in a different size. Now, her telling me this is like 5 months afterwards. I'll explain why. So she ordered these diapers for me, and she also ordered a case for her and him. He decided that he was going to move out because he wasn't the relationship wasn't fixing itself, and they're not talking about their issues. There were no issues. He was making this up. He was making up the issues because he had started falling for Maxine. And again, just remember, all the names I'm using here are not real names. Uh, Drac is actually a nickname that we had for my alpha's ex-husband, uh, and Rain was her community name, so that we knew her in the community by. Um, what happened next was fucking ridiculous because this is the point where I'm reintroduced into the story. Um, this is about 2 months after the situation. He came to me and he was just like, "Oh, I don't know what's happening. My relationship just started going to shit. Didn't you guys just get married?" "Yeah, I don't understand. She's just treating me like like she's just a sex worker." When he made that comment, I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's just talking to me like I was just another client, which is kind of weird because under no circumstances has Rain ever talked to anybody like that, and I can truly say that. So the situation just got fucking weird because he just kept explaining all this shit, and she was mentally distraught, like freaking screaming and just upset. And I had never seen Rain like that, and I was confused because I was being told one story and then seeing this manic depressive person on the other story, and I had no idea who was lying to me because I felt that someone was lying. I was right. Someone was lying. And I told my boyfriend, you know, uh, I don't trust anyone in this situation because I says, A, this story is not adding up. There are multiple parts that I feel are missing, and I would like to know what the full story is before I take that leap. My boyfriend's response was, "That's logical. It makes more. That makes a lot of sense. So don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. We'll see what's going on. We'll come to a conclusion. Just take your time. Don't jump to sides or anything." So we did. We just listened, shook our head, said yes. We didn't know what was going on because neither one of them were telling us the full story. Then I got the full story. Come November, Drac came over for Thanksgiving. We hung out. We had a chat. And he kept exclaiming things that Rain was doing that didn't make any sense. Hello, Xavier. He started exclaiming things that just didn't make any sense. Like he was saying that oh, she's using my kinks against me so that she's able to get sex. What? What the fuck? Like she's just using that against you? Yeah, yeah. I can't believe that. Mind you, right? Maxine knew how loyal and how much I was in love with Rain, and Maxine tried to use my kinks against me. Like legitimately did a session with me with using my kinks, and I thought it was weird. But I went along with it because I didn't know anything was exactly wrong. But later on, she tried to convince me that all of this stuff, and then I noticed that she kept doing things that she felt would interest me sexually in order to get me to her side. And I don't know about you, but I don't trust any woman that does some shit like that. I have a real bad experience with women who do shit like that. Hence why I don't trust people who try to use sexual exploitation in order to get you to side with them. Rain was upset, distraught, just pissed. But every day, every single week, Rain would call me to see how I was doing. And we would talk for like an hour. I realized that what Rain was doing, and I said, Rain, I understand and I get it. Because she was doing it, but Drac wasn't. Drac didn't give a fuck. The matter of fact, Drac went behind my back, invited my boyfriend over to Maxine in his new place, and started asking questions about our relationship, right? Promising him play in order to get some answers. And then kicking him out once they didn't feel that they got the answers that they were looking for. Don't worry, because that happened to me too. And when he relayed the story to me, I go, "What the fuck? That happened to you?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on." And I says, I'm starting to feel a bit suspicious about this. So Rain ends up telling me the story about how she had bought those diapers for me. And she was like, "So how did you like them?" I said, "Like what?" She's like, "The peekaboos." I was like, "What peekaboos? You didn't give me any peekaboos." She goes, "Yes, I did. I ordered those for you." I says, "What?" Here's the funny story. When I went over there to Maxine and Drac's place, they had two cases of diapers that were there. One was extra large peekaboos. The other ones were medium peekaboos. And I immediately was like, well, why is the extra large here? I said, "You don't wear extra large though." "Oh, I was just trying them because it had more space." And I'm like, "But they're two sizes too big for you, Drac. That doesn't make any sense." Uh, no, 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 no. It's just that they were low cut. You know what it's like." "Yeah, I do." When I realized this, I says, "Rain, that explains what the extra larges that were there. This son of a bitch stole my birthday present, gave me four diapers out of my birthday present, and then just kicked me out of the place. Refused to even give me my own birthday present. Are you fucking serious?" So then Rain bought me a shirt from ABU, which I wear a lot. That's the charging shirt that you see with him sleeping, with the little battery man sleeping. It's adorable. I love that shirt. I cherish that shirt. I wore it everywhere, right? I would wear it out. Drac was like, "Where did you get the shirt?" Oh, I was like, he didn't ask me where I got the shirt. He found out that I got the shirt from Rain. It wasn't a secret. There was just never anyone that asked me any questions. So I just did it. I just was like, I was just like, "Yeah, I'll wear it. I don't give a fuck. I love this shirt." Drac goes, "I know that you and Rain are sleeping together." Wait, we are doing what? What the fuck? I was like, where in the fuck did that happen? I vastly wanted to sleep with Rain, but Rain would never do that because she never wanted they had rules when they got together that were set up by him that her and I were not to sleep together. Um, he also came up with rules in order to like block me from and me and her from like practicing any of my kinks because he was an extremely jealous man for someone who claimed that he was polyamorous. Don't worry, there's a little another nugget of information coming pretty soon. He 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 accused me and her of sleeping together, then cut all contact with me. I hadn't heard from him at all. And when I asked Maxine about it, because I was confused on what was going on, Maxine gaslit me and basically told me that the that I needed to understand that they needed their space. And I was like, no, that's fine. I'm just confused on why he's accusing me of stuff. He isn't accusing you. And you need to stop blaming him for shit. What? I saved that text message, by the way. I still have that text message. And I read it from time to time because I should have known that these wolves were in our fucking hen house. And I was so goddamn just dumbfounded by everything that was going on. And I told Rain, I says, Rain, I understand it now, and I 100% believe you. So you didn't believe me before? No, it's not that. You didn't tell me the full story. And I says, I knew you didn't tell me the full story. And I was confused on why you didn't. You had evidence. You had actual, legitimate evidence. Why didn't you tell me before the full story instead of letting him get to me and telling me the story? You should have came to me first. And Rain was like, you're right. I should have. And other people said that. They told me that I should have came to you first, and I didn't. And I'm sorry, Anka. I was upset. But I love this woman, so what I didn't realize was the clock was now ticking. There was Christmas, New Year's, and then the pandemic was still progressing. And she, we kept talking, and everything was still cool. What I didn't realize was, is one day I got a text message from Drac. And Drac told me, he was like, I got kicked out. And I got kicked out of my place with Maxine. Can I just come over and stay with you? And I was like, where the fuck are you going to stay? My house isn't that big for that. I go, and he's like, yeah, could you just pay for me to get a cab? I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, dude, I don't have any money. I was like, what do you mean pay for you to have a cab? I was like, you came out of nowhere with this. Like, where the fuck? And he just goes, forget it then. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? He then calls a cab himself and goes to Rain's house and then acts like he was getting back with her and then starts slowly but surely going back on his word. And then he's like, no, our relationship is irreparable. We can't. You want to know why? Because the entire time that he was claiming that he was trying to get back with her, he was standing there trying to get back with Maxine. He actually tried to get back with Maxine in real time of talking to Rain. That double-crossing son of a bitch actually had the fucking nerve to do that shit. He played these mind games with this woman, and to the point that she actually broke and came to the decision that she was going to take her own life. I didn't know about this, but she was hinting it to me because she kept saying little tidbits and little bit things that, you know, Little things that that are hints, that are actual hints that she was going to do this. And I she always had a morbid sense of humor, so I wasn't sure if that was real or not, but I didn't believe it was. I didn't know that this son of a bitch had went over there and did this. The next morning after he left, he just walked the fuck out. Didn't say goodbye, nothing. Went right back to Maxine's house, and the two of them started fucking all over again. He walked out on all of us and then blamed us for him walking out. I discovered I discovered later on of what took place. And way later, because this is February of 2021. Her and I are talking, and she just goes, "Yeah, you didn't know about him coming to the house?" I was like, "No, he came to the house, yeah." And he acted like nothing was wrong, and we were all going to be together again. And then he just walked out. He didn't say goodbye or anything. He just walked out. And I was like, "Rain, what the fuck?" I was like, I says and I told her the situation with me, and I says, I I'm sorry that I didn't jump into this sooner, but I didn't know where to go. And she's like, "No, I understand." And we had this whole conversation, and Rain was just stoic, strong like she normally is, laughed it off, and then she says at the end, she goes, "Oh, so I heard that you're starting your Just for Fans thing." I was like, "Yeah." And like I based the character off of you, and she was so excited and happy, and she was like, "That's so cool, and I'm really glad that you would think of me in such a way." And I was like, "Yeah, it's great." And at the end of the call, after we had talked about everything, and then I realized that she realized that I would never forgive Aaron, that I would never forgive Drac for what he did, ever. I would never forgive him. She was like, "Okay, I just don't want you to hate him. Like he was your friend too." And I go, "Yeah, but what he did to you is not excusable." Fair. At the end of the call, she goes, "We should work on, like, we should talk about doing a scene together. Like when the vaccine starts coming out, we can do a scene together. It'll be great. He'll be real pissed off about it." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, he will." And she goes, "Bye, Lars." Like, we both had to go, and she just says, "Goodbye, Lars." Rain never says goodbye. Ever. She's never said goodbye. And when I fucking heard that, something something happened. And I don't know what it was. And she clicked off the phone. And I was, God damn it. She said goodbye, and I knew at that moment something was wrong. And I was like, "No, I'm overreacting. No, 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 that wasn't what I thought it was. No, not at all. It absolutely was." And she, I didn't hear from her until I was excited. It was like, I'm trying to pull myself together, and I can't. I can't. I really can't. Because it's the way she said goodbye. It's the way she said it. I should have known. I should have fucking known. Oh, God. There was a point where, after I had spoken to her, I was excited. All I could think was, yeah, I can't wait until I do this script and it'll be great and it'll be fun and we'll have so much great times. And that Valentine's Day, Valentine's Day 2021 will be the day that I never forgot. I was on ABDL cams talking with people because I was excited and happy, and I wanted to chat with people that I hadn't spoke to in a long time. And I got a phone call. Hold on. I got a phone call. Valentine's Day 2021. I was excited that day. Really excited because I had talked to Rain like on that Friday or that Thursday, and I thought that everything was going to be fine. I was super excited. And then while I was on ABDL camps, I ended up getting a call, and I was like, "Hey guys, I gotta take this call. I'll be back." And I took the call. It was Maxine. She goes, "Lars, what are you doing?" I'm like, "This is a weird call. What's up? What are you doing?" I was streaming. Why? And she goes, "You might want to sit down." Sit down for what? Just do it, please. Okay. So I took a seat. And I go, "What happened?" I said, "What's up?" Rain was found dead in her home earlier today. I got the news that Rain had died from her rapist. I freaked the fuck out. I was mad. I was like, "You fucking liar!" What? I was like, "This is not a funny joke." And she goes, "I'm not joking. Like, why are you so angry?" Because I want to know why you're fucking calling me. No, I'm serious. And then the only thing I could think is, what did they do to her? What did Drac and Maxine do to this woman? There was no note. She had killed herself. She hung herself in her own bedroom. She had just bought a house. It was like a house for the disabled, but she was making a dungeon space in the opposite house that was across the way because it was like a two-house home. And it had like this beautiful like bridge walkway to the other house. And she was setting up this whole thing, and then you find out she was gone. I didn't know what to say. I was in shock. I was distraught. I was upset. I I had lost the woman that I loved. She was gone. I was upset because the only thing I could think was is that Drac had killed her. That's what I thought. And I was like, how? And I didn't want to believe it. I didn't believe it. And then Drac got on the phone and he says, "Hey man, uh, I know that this would hurt as much, since we had got a divorce." They had got a divorce a couple of months before, and she made sure that this motherfucker didn't get shit. She took him out of her will. She changed the power of attorney and the executor of the estate to one of the members of our polycule. And yeah, one of the members of our polycule was she changed one of the members of the polycule to huh? Hold on a sec. I hated that, like, it's so small. No, 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 no. This is someone else. Draak. Yeah, this is no. This is someone else. Yeah, Drac is spelled Draak. If I'm not mistaken. That's not their, like. I'm only giving a partial part of their name for this story for their, like. Even though I hate this person, like, a lot of the shit that took place is just terrible. But yeah, no. Uh, Drac is a different person. He is not someone that's on Instagram. At least I don't believe he is. Um, there's more to the story. Like I said, I'm using alternate names for everyone's story to protect privacy. But I called Mouse. Like after he said that, I hung up the phone. I was really upset that he had even bothered to say that I didn't think it would hurt this much. How fucking dare you? Then the situation got even worse because what happens is that we ended up I ended up calling Mouse. Mouse was in shock. And then from there, I called one of the guys that helps who used to help run the digital munches I was doing, Kaylin. Kaylin then called our group leader, and she called me, and she was in tears. She had broken the fuck down because that was her friend. That was someone who she cared about. The situation got even more terrible because Drac and I didn't speak for the better portion of a year. Uh, for the better part of a year after this. They had a funeral. We had a wake. We cleaned out her house. I got every ounce of all of her little stuff, and I had to do a lot. A matter of fact, you guys have seen the toy chest that's on the other side over here with the bins that are connected in there. That was hers. This bin right here with bubbles and a Gyarados Lego set or some sort, uh, crayons, all of this stuff here. like her passy making set. This bin with all the crayons and the markers and and the bubbles and all of this was hers. It wasn't just that either. It was more. I had bags of stuffies, of clothes, of like just onesies, and I had to take care of all of this. It was put upon me in order to do this because that was in her will. That was in Rain's will. There's a sign that I keep on the wall here where it says "Little Babe Cave," and I have her TeddyCon badge from 2019 hanging on it. I have like this other thing that I have on the door that has a bunch of necklaces and stuff that belong to her on it. I I was upset. I was horribly upset, and I had to try to figure out how to move on from that because Maxine and Drac purposely pushed this woman to that, and he didn't care. The thing that got me, the thing that eats me alive to this day, is that he didn't care. He didn't care that he pushed this woman to this. And I looked at him when I was so confused because he literally felt as if his ridiculous lies were what justified him. I made a grave mistake. I introduced a friend to someone who was not trustworthy, who I thought I had known for longer than I had, and that was based on my own memory. I made a suggestion. I introduced them to each other. They fell for each other, they got married, and this tragic story happened. To this day, I still blame myself for that. I will never, ever get over the fact that I made a mistake like this. I made a mistake that cost someone their life. I thought I could trust this person, and they were nothing more than a wolf in sheep's clothing. And this is why I constantly tell people in the community, stop endorsing people that you have never met. Stop endorsing people you have never met. I've never met this person, but I know because they were nice to me. No, because someday there might be someone who gets hurt, who takes their own life because you endorse somebody that you thought you knew and you didn't. Or you endorse someone who like might have been in a situation that they thought they were safe and end up like Rain did. Don't give blanket endorsements to people you don't fucking know. In this community, in the kink community, we are in charge of keeping each other safe. We are in charge of that. We are the reasons why people make the decisions that they do. We tell them that we know someone and they believe us and they trust us, and then things like that happen. I cannot tell you how many posts I've seen on Instagram, on Twitter, on random other sites where people just keep going out there and saying, I never met this person, but I think that this person's a wonderful person. Shut the fuck up. Because you don't know that person. You don't know if they're a predator or not. And you do not know who is going to believe you and then end up getting fucking hurt. I I cannot take people who just run on their emotions fucking alone. And they believe that because that they are an aged player that is perfectly soundly fucking sane to do so. Fuck you. No, you have to think about what you are doing. I don't give a fuck what type of headspace you decide to choose to put yourself in. Your safety is just as much as important as someone else's. Do you know how many times I played that woman's life through my head? Do you know how many times I've sat here and played Rain's entire stay in the community back to myself and try to figure out if there were any point in time that I could have done something slightly different that would have changed the outcome? And you want to know what's the truth? No. No, there isn't. Because let's say let's say that I didn't introduce them. They were both in the major community here. They would have met there. Or they could have met anywhere else at any other type of event, through any other type of friend. Like, there's so much. Like, this is why I'm telling you all, like, be careful. Please. My pain should not be everybody else's. And and you all should learn from my pain. So you don't have to share the tears that I have to shed. Rain was absolutely the love of my life. I love that woman beyond recognition. She meant the world to me. She's not here anymore. And there's not a single thing I can do to ever bring her back. I made a horrible critical mistake in trusting someone. I trusted someone who I thought I knew, and I sure as fuck didn't. I went on instinct alone, and that was horrible. Don't do that. Don't be me. Don't be me, please. Don't don't be me. Don't don't make my mistakes, please, because it's unnecessary. Too many times I've seen too many tears. I've seen too many people crying. I I don't want other people in the community to have to get that terrible phone call to know that the person that they cared about is gone. I don't want them to have to go through what I went through. I didn't get that message from a friend. I got it from the person that I love's rapist. God damn it. This is why I say that when I smile, it's smile while I'm crying. This is why I say that the chipper, happy attitude that you see out of me is me trying to turn the most dismal day into a happy one. I don't do what I do in this community because I want recognition or clout or anything like that. I do it because if I can just change one person, make them happy, someone doesn't have to think about going and taking their own life. So I try my best to try to be there for everybody. And the thing that haunts me the worst is the person I couldn't help. The person that meant the most to me, I couldn't even be there for. And I didn't even know. I didn't know how much they were hurting. And the entire time they were spending their time trying to help me. And when I was finally okay, they were gone. Don't, 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 please, people, don't do stupid shit like this. Like, don't go out there and endorse people you don't know. I see it in the story feeds. I see it everywhere. If you don't know someone, do not start endorsing them and talking about how they're the greatest of people. You don't know them. You don't. And I'm scared of the day that someone is going to get hurt because of that. I trusted Drac. I thought Drac was my friend. I thought that Drac was there to. He was going to take care of the woman that I loved and that she was going to be in the most safest of hands. I was wrong. I was horribly wrong. Ironically, that is not the end of this story. It's not. 2 months ago, I had to deal with Drac. Drac actually reappeared at my house where he rang my bell. Well, he didn't ring the bell. No. He knocked on the door and one of my roommates answered. And he stood outside of my house for over 30 to 45 minutes. Just stalking my house. Slightly knocking, not hard enough for anyone to really notice, but just loud enough for you to, but like, just, it was a weird knock. Because it was, this is a 3-story house. How is anyone going to hear that who is not by the door? And he stood out there for 30 to 45 minutes, just knocking on the door because he knew I was there. And he parked his car right in our parking lot and everything. And I go, what the fuck is he doing? I couldn't leave my house because he was just out there. I had not seen Drac in over a year. I had not seen Drac since for 2 years. Last time I saw Drac was just before rain passed. Like 2 or 3 months before rain passed. So the last time I saw him was like November of 2020. He just ended up at my door, and I didn't know what the fuck to think of that. There was a situation where Drac actually, again, I want to state this. Drac is not anyone that is on Instagram that follows me or that I follow. So please do not think that that is the person I am speaking of. There is no one on Instagram by that name that I know that is that person. The person that I'm speaking of is someone by the name of who was on Fat Life at one point. I it it I do not seek this person out. Don't. It is not even necessary. It's not. I'm upset because I made a decision, a terrible decision in Friends. And like I said, I don't want people searching him out. And I'm more than likely going to edit that portion where I actually gave the full name out. I'm editing this part out of the thing, but I want to finish this story. There was a situation in which I called him after this, and I said, "Hey, I know that you were outside my house. What the fuck did you want?" And that was the only message I left. 2 weeks later, he sends me. He calls me. He goes, "Hey, buddy, how are you? Hey, what's up?" "Not much. It's been a long time, and I was just hoping that I can hang out with my friend again." And I immediately go, "I'm sorry. Are you on drugs?" "What?" I was like, she's dead, right?" "Well, yeah, I understand that Rain's gone." I was like, "Yeah. You know why she took her life, right?" And he goes, "So she did kill herself?" "Yeah. Yeah, she did." "And you know why she took her life, right?" And he goes, "Yeah. Yeah, I do." I says, "You gaslit this woman until she took her own life." "Oh, well, you saw the text messages that I had showed you." "Yeah, I also know that you fucking edited them. I know that you cut out portions of the conversation because I got her phone, and I actually did see the rest of the fucking conversation. The parts that you cut out." "Oh, uh, you son of a bitch, you lied to me. And then you have the fucking nerve to show up at my house and then going to claim that you want your friend back? We are not friends. The woman I cared about is gone. She is dead. Let's not even get to the point that I would like to. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Wait for it, Huggies. Wait for this. I go, the person I cared about is no longer living. She took her own life, and she did it because of you. And you have the fucking audacity to call me and talk about how you want your friend back? What? We are not friends. You left her for her rapist. Like, what? What the fuck? And he was silent the entire time. And I was like, don't ever fucking call me again. Ever. All right. And it hung up. He literally thought that after accusing me and her of sleeping together And that was another thing I brought up too in the conversation. I brought up the fact that he accused me of sleeping with her. And I says, what about the birthday present she bought me? That you stole. Oh, well, you see, there was an emergency. No, there wasn't. There was no emergency. You fucking stole a birthday present out of pure fucking jealousy. Which is insane. Let me tell you something, a conversation that happened in the car. This is way before that incident. About 2 years before the incident, right? We were in the car, we were stuck in traffic, and we were just talking about being polycules and the relationships and everything. And I was talking about how I felt about Mouse, my co-host. You know the co-host, you've heard him. I talked about it. And there was a moment where he actually said, well, I'm not actually poly. And I go, wait, what? And he goes, yeah, you're not poly. No. So this entire fucking time, you've been lying to me, her, and everybody else that you have never been poly? Yeah, I'm not poly. Then immediately, 4 hours later, completely switched fucking position. Completely switched his talking point. I should have fucking knew then that this son of a bitch was a piece of shit. But no. Nah. He was obviously just going through something. That's what I thought. And you know what? I want to kick myself in the fucking face for that. I made a horrible decision in life. I did. I made a terrible decision. I made a horrible standpoint, and I should have said something probably at that moment after the fucking car ride. I should have probably said something then. Because had I said something, you know what? Maybe Rain would have fucking listened to me. I don't know. I've made mistakes, apparently. A lot of mistakes. Lots and lots of mistakes in life. And I should understand that that was fucking stupid. It's so shitty. It's really shit. It's absolutely shitty that someone who I thought I could trust was fucking there the entire time and ended up hurting the person I cared about. What makes it even crazier, right, is that after this motherfucker fucking contacted me and gonna talk about how we should still be friends and blah blah blah, fucking dickhead. After all of that, right, just packs up his bags and just fucking goes, oh, well, we're not gonna fuck, I'm not gonna bring this up anymore, and gone. Then I had had Rain's rapist message me. Maxine had the fucking goddamn nerve to go, you know, we really care about you. Shut up, bitch, because no, you fucking don't. If you cared about me, then why did you find it necessary to use my kinks as a way to try to brainwash me against Rain? And when it didn't work, you just go, oh, well, I'm just going to try your boyfriend, ha ha ha. Let me bring up another factor of something that happened after Rain was found dead. This asshole Drac goes and calls my boyfriend and goes, oh, have you spoken to Lars? He seems like he's really upset. And he goes, yeah, the woman that he loved died, dude. You know, your wife that he cared about, like, immensely, she's gone. Oh, well, I personally think that since he's probably going to blame himself for this, because, well, yeah, he's going to blame himself for this, because he introduced her to you. Well, I think that he's a danger to himself and others, and you should probably have him 302'd. If you guys don't know what a 302 is, it's cop lingo
for when someone has a psychological break. He was trying to make sure. And I know you all are like, oh, well, he was worried about you. No, 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 no. I'm going to tell you what Drac did that was actually really fucked up. The reason he wanted me 302 is because at the time I had worked at a law firm and I knew certain things that had to be done because A, my grandmother had died in 2019 and thus I had to go through all the legal jargon of that shit and try to get things wrapped up with that. I would know all the legal shit in order to get things done. He thought that I was going to stop him from getting his what he thought was half of her shit. He was trying to collect on her accounts, her money, all of that shit. The first thing that he fucking said, to me was, and I quote, thank you. But the first thing this son of a bitch had the fucking nerve to say, where after she was found dead, he didn't call me first. Oh no, 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 no. He called me last. The truth is, he called the person who was the executor of the estate, that he didn't know at the time was the executor of the estate. He had no clue. He didn't know that she was the executor of the estate. So when he called the executor of the estate, he straight up goes, "Oh, I'm the executive of the estate, and I need to know where she was living. I need her landlord's number and everything so I can make sure that the bills are paid and everything. I also need her account numbers, and you don't find that a bit suspicious? That just randomly, this dude who walked out on his ex-wife is now asking for her account numbers, her landlord, all of this shit. He didn't know that she had bought a house for herself. He didn't know. But this son of a bitch is a piece of shit. So who the fuck cares? So he straight up starts claiming all of this shit. Like, oh, I need all of this. I need like her account numbers and everything. I need all of this so that I'm able to deal with the business. The executor of the estate said, "Go kick bricks because you're not the executor of the estate. I am." What? Yeah. She divorced you, dude. Why would you be the executor of the estate? I am the executor of the estate. No, no, you're not. She had that change before your divorce was final, dude. Like you're not the executor of the estate. He called her mother and started claiming this shit too. The mom didn't fall for it either. And he was livid that he didn't get any money, he didn't get a place, he didn't get shit. He got exactly what he deserved. Not a goddamn fucking thing. He was an absolute piece of fucking trash. I'm just now reading your post here on Facebook. I appreciate that, Scarlett, and I appreciate that too, Helgies. Thank you. This son of a bitch, this dude tried to get her money. He tried to get her house. He tried to get everything, and he got nothing. I laughed to fucking tears when I realized that son of a bitch didn't get a goddamn thing. I had to go to the house and pack up all her little stuff and put it together and everything, and we all had food, and And we laughed and talked about it, but it was weird because the people that were there, outside of me and the main person running it, the executive of the estate, we and Mouse, the three of us knew each other, but I didn't know the other people that were there. These were all other people that were in relationships with her, and I thought that that was cool. Like I wasn't upset or anything. I realized that there was more to it, and she had such good friends, and I'm still good. I know these people. They're good people, and I actually hang out with them whenever I can. I'm very much not in some of them's wheelhouse because I am obviously a little, and I am, yeah. But yeah, that was something. And what's even more shitty is that they continue. Like he years later, like 2 years later, is gonna come over here. A year later, I'm sorry, is gonna come over here and say, "I want my friend back." Fuck you, please. That's absolute nonsense. We care so much about you. No, you don't. Because if you did, that would be a completely other situation. Which, like I said, it's really fucked up. And I refuse to be in a situation like that at all. I just. I don't want to see others in that situation. This is why little Karama here is one of my best friends. It reminds me of her. It does. And I know some of you are wondering, why? Why would you go on your podcast, or not podcast, but the blog, and talk about this? I'll explain. I'm talking about this out loud like this as a way to deal with trauma. I'm dealing with my trauma and telling you so that you can learn from my trauma. This is not fun for me whatsoever. A matter of fact, I would prefer to be playing with action figures, but I won't be able to do that for several days. But this is me dealing with trauma. And I appreciate that all of you were here to help me deal with all of it. To know that Drac had the idea that if I had did something that he was, to know that he would do all of this just to hurt me, it's really fucked up. It is. And man, did he have a lot of shit. Rain told me before she passed about one thing that she said was that um, one of the things that when they first started their relationship, the first thing that he said that he didn't want, he started naming off all of my kinks that she knew about. And he was like, I don't want you doing this with anybody else. But he never stated anybody else's kinks, just mine. Because he knew how I felt about her. He was dead set on trying to hurt me over her. Because he was a jealous piece of shit. And this is why I'm trying to tell all of you who are out there, please do not make my mistake. Do not go over there and start endorsing people that you don't know. I will repeat it until my face turns blue and the cows come home. Don't make my mistakes. Don't. For the first time, for the first time, and I'm saying this wholeheartedly. For the first time, I can stop crying. For the first time, I can feel like I'm healing. For the first time, I can start forgiving myself. Some things in life are completely out of our control. And this was definitely one of those things. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being there, for listening, and hopefully taking heed from what I say. Please. If there's anything else that I could say out of this, it's just don't blindly throw your support behind people that you don't know. Don't, and this sounds gaudy, but let rains let rain mean something and for you to learn from. Please don't let anyone else have the same fate. If you are suffering from any type of trauma or have those terrible thoughts of doing horrible things to yourself, please, no, don't do it. You mean a lot to a lot of people. You mean a lot to everyone. I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. Yeah, it's been rough. I will tell you guys before I end the podcast of the aftermath of everything after Rain passing. When I first came up with the King family and we all got together and had this group together, it was supposed to be a failsafe so that if the community ever had a situation in which they lacked a leader, the group would jump in and take the spot and there would never be any pain or stress or anything. Drac destroyed that family, which then destroyed the failsafe, which mean that our community, the local community, didn't have anything to fall back on except for me. So now this is why a lot of people are always like wondering why I'm late whenever I'm starting podcasts and stuff. It's because I don't get that much sleep. I don't. I spend a majority of my time working with the community, and when I am not, I am trying to better relations with the community so that age players have a place in our local King community. And I am constantly trying to do my best for this community. And the more that I do it, the more that I cry, the more that I do understand why I do it, but it doesn't change anything. I all I want to do is make a safe community for all of you, for my local community as well. But it's hard, and I'm only one person, And I never knew how hard it was because I always had Rain there to help me until she wasn't there anymore. And yeah, it's rough. It's rough. But she believed in me. She always believed in me. And that's why I can't let her down. I have to keep going. I have to keep working hard in order to make our local community something. And I really appreciate, again, I appreciate it from everybody. I appreciate your support and for everyone being here. I thank you. Finally, I want to talk on something that I've been working on. There's a convention that will be coming in the near future, one that I am working with, one that I am hoping that I could talk to Casey about. Casey from ABU. I would love to have a conversation with him about it, but I have to get this off the ground myself first. And then I am hoping that we will be able to hold an event here. I plan to finish Rain and I's idea of starting a convention here in Pittsburgh. Um, PapCon will be a thing at some point. PapCon will stand for Pittsburgh H PlayCon. It's the idea that we had. We really wanted to 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 hold this event, and we were hoping that we can. I look very forward to the near future when I am able to do it. I am talking with people, trying to get backing, trying to get vendors and everything. The idea for the convention was to also have sex workers be able to come there and talk about it, like talk about like what it's like in like not so much giving telling people how to do it, but like giving their experience and their journey and some of the hardships and stuff that they had to deal with. I wanted to actually have a panel for that actually. I also wanted to have a panel for creative writing for those that are hoping to do like storylines and stuff like that during video work and stuff like that. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff that we had planned for this. I had talked to vendors. I was actually, funny enough, not just reaching out to kink vendors. Funny enough, I was actually reaching out to other vendors as well. But yeah, that's basically that. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. Um, Thank you. I appreciate that, Scarlett. You're awesome. Thank you again, everybody, for being here and being a part of the podcast. I will be returning soon with another podcast. I'm I have a guest that's going to be on the next Age Play podcast. So yeah, that's going to be fun. But anyway, I will catch you all later. Uh, yeah, and I hope that you guys look forward to the next Age Play podcast. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow there might be a gaming live stream. We'll see. Just to let you guys know, there is a schedule that's going to be going up about when all of my streams are. I'm going to start following the schedule to try to get everything together. Yeah. So I will catch you all later, and I love you all, and thank you for being here with me and sitting here through this with me. I appreciate it.